So there's something I want to talk about. Last night I did a plan and I set it up. I was only going to image 3 objects. And then when I got up this morning, I looked at what it had saved. I knew that the first object had started imaging because I was awake by then. But, I did only 3 objects, so I did them for several hours each. But I'm going to show you the plan I made. So here's the plan I made. I did NGC 4236 and IC 410, which is also NGC. Um, let's see, that's the Tadpole Nebula. It's NGC 1893. It's also named IC 410. And then I did, let's see, what was this last one? Oh, I did the Horsehead Nebula with the Flame Nebula in there as well. And so this was what I was hoping to image last night. This first one was a galaxy that I hadn't done before. And it was pretty small. I mean, not small in diameter, but not a real well-defined galaxy. And so I'm going to show you what happened on this plan and what went wrong. Well, couple things actually kind of happened. So let me get back here to the album. Well, when I got it this morning, it always disconnects because my phone has timed out. So I just reconnected and then I go here and up there at the top, you can see my plan that executed has ended. And you see that one of those boxes is green and the other 2 are red. Well, what that tells me automatically is the last 2 failed. And I was a little worried about it because they both started pretty low on the horizon, plus they're to the south. And my vision to the south with my telescope isn't the best. And so I was a little nervous about it anyway. And so I was right to be nervous because it wouldn't image. So this is something that I don't love about the plan is when it executes the plan, it starts out when it's supposed to, and then it tries to find the object. Well, if it doesn't find the object right away, it keeps trying for a few minutes. But then after a few minutes, it quits trying and it just fails it. It doesn't come back later and say, okay, we found it now. It was a little bit too low before, but now it's high enough in the sky. So we're going to try again and try and find it. It doesn't do that. Oops, sorry, I let the phone time out here. And so what happens is it just automatically fails and then it just waits till the next time and tries the next object. And so I also could tell when I went into my album and I clicked on the Seestar at the top, it only saved 2 folders. And one of the one is the subs folder and the other one is the object folder. And this is that first galaxy. And that's kind of what it looked like when I went to bed. So it's a pretty thing, but it's not really identifiable as a galaxy, really. I mean, I guess it is, but it looks more like a nebula. I'm not even sure if that bright star in the middle is its center. It could be just a star that you could see in front of all of that, the gases. It is numbered and labeled as a galaxy, and so I'm sure that's what it is. But it's not the best picture in the whole world. So what I want to do tonight or whatever night. I mean, I've had a lot of cloud issues lately, so if I can do it tonight, I will do it tonight, but I want to remodify this plan. I'm going to change this first object to something different, but I'll keep the same amount of time. But then this second object right here, I'm going to split it up and I will start it at the same time, but only do it for maybe I don't know if I want to do even that long. That would be an hour. maybe I'll do it for a half hour and then continue again and do it again for another half hour. I gotta figure out which ones they are. Gotta think it through here. But then do it for a half hour, the same object for that whole time period, but just split it up over the night so that if it's too low when it starts, it doesn't time out and just fail the whole episode. I'm hoping that if it fails, which we know it probably will, that it will come back and try again a half hour later to find it, and then a half hour later if it didn't find it then. Hope that makes sense. When I get it all set up, I'll bring you back and show you how I set it up, and then we'll execute it tonight and see if that does any different than what I tried to image last night. So this is a flaw in the plan that I don't love, and I wish that it would retest, a half hour later or something, just in case the object is just a little too low, but then half hour later it's high enough. But setting it up in the plan like I did last night doesn't work. And so I want to try something else so that we're not wasting that whole clear sky night on a failed plan because I put a lot of time on it. So I'll bring you back when I've got it all set up. Okay, I had a little snafu when I was recording it because it's kind of hard. I have to record the video on my phone, but the audio on my computer. So I have to try and set them up to sync up and had a little snafu. So I had set up this plan and then had to go and re-record the video part. But anyway, this is the plan that I've set up where I split up those objects into half-hour segments instead of long several hour, I think about 3 hours segments. And so this is what I will execute tonight, and I'm hoping that if it doesn't locate the object in the beginning, half hour later it's gonna come back and try again. Half hour later it'll try again, and then hopefully at least we can capture something throughout the night. Because as it sits with how the plan runs now, if it fails, it doesn't try again. It just waits for the next object to come up in the plan and starts there. And so I'm hoping that this will at least allow us to save some of the night for our imaging and we can capture something. But we'll run it tonight and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, it's the next morning and I just got out put my Seestar back in the house. Now we're going to look at the results. So I am connected to the Seestar, and then I'm going to click on the plan, and here it is in the top of the screen. And the first two objects, they're green, but I used to just have one object there. So this is the original plan is here in the bottom screen, and I had 3 objects. This time I have 4, because the 2 that I was doing here at the beginning to take over that NGC 4286, um, I didn't find one that I wanted to replace it with, so I replaced it with 2 of them. And then next to that, you can see there's the boxes are red and then they turn green. It looks like they're kind of 2 of them are like orange. I think that's just because the red is next to a green and so they're kind of mixing. But they're red for 3 boxes and then it turns green. And then the last object is completely red. And so what I know from just looking at this is that our plan really did work. Um, but the last object never was able to find that object. So it must be down behind the house or for some reason it couldn't find it at all. But I thought about redoing it and changing the object or something, but we really did already figure out that this plan does work, because our problem was is that it was failing at the first um, attempt at trying to find it. I mean, it does make a few more than one attempt, but if it doesn't find it, it would fail the whole block. So this IC 410 at the bottom, if it failed within the first few minutes, that whole period would fail. And then it wouldn't try again until we got to the very last object. So we really did figure out that if we were to split it up like this, and it was failing in the beginning, doing it this way, it would reattempt to find it every half hour until it found it, and then it would image it. And I don't know exactly what was going on with that last object. I'm guessing it was behind the house. Where I have it set up is pretty close to my house, so if it's at all to the southeast, it would be behind my house. Um, but we did figure solve that problem a little bit. You know, we still missed out on that third object, but we were able to capture some exposures for one, two, three. They're so close together. I think there's four of them. So, you know, that's 2 hours worth of exposures that we caught on that second object that we wouldn't have caught if we were doing this plan down here in the bottom. And so let's go and look and see what we captured. We'll just go to the My Album, click on the Seestar, and the very bottom one here is the one I did the night before that caught in the very beginning, that galaxy. And then last night, uh, the first object I did was this splinter galaxy. I don't know why it's saying unknown, but that's what it captured for that one. The second one that I had replaced it with was a star cluster, and that's that one right there. And then the one that we couldn't capture at all the night before, but we were able to capture some, is right here. And it saved several images here because during the night I would wake up and I was trying to see if what was going on with it, and it comes up and it gives you want to save this or keep it or save it, and I would click keep it, and so that's why there's multiple pictures here. But we were able to capture, and it saved. I guess that's not why there's four of them there. There's four of them there because our plan now has four different sections of time. And so that's why it's saving those four. But it was able to save 522 exposures. And so now we could go into the deep sky stack and stack all of those into one exposure. And so, what have we learned with this experiment? The plan method, that's one of the flaws that I don't like, is that if the you put a big chunk of time towards one object and it can't find it from the beginning, it fails that whole block of time. And so we have really figured out a way to overcome that hurdle in setting a plan. Um, is it fail proof? Absolutely not. We know that because the last object, it never was able to find it. Well, that's probably the user error because of where I put it, where it was located in the sky. You know, I wasn't real careful about that. And so we were just trying to figure out if we could overcome that hurdle in the plan. And we are able to. And all I would have to do is go into the deep sky stack and then add the images and add all of those 522 exposures. I would want to go through and see if there were any with satellites or weird things through them. But then I could deep sky stack them. Stacking that many is going to take probably a half hour or so at least. So I won't do that here. But we were able to override the hurdle in that plan by just putting it in little blocks of time rather than one big block of time. And so this was a fun experiment. I hope you learned something. We just like to mess around trying different things, trying to push the limits of the app and the capabilities of what we are given. And so I hope you've enjoyed that. All right, so I've done the deep sky stack on all of those exposures. I didn't scroll through it and remove anything because I'm just doing this out of curiosity. This is an experiment. It's not really going to be a print I'm going to put on the wall. But I've got 98% of the stacking done. It says it's got 30 seconds left. I just wanted to see what stacking all of those exposures would appear like. I do realize that even though we got 2 hours of exposure time, it does take the scope longer to realign between each one of those segments of time. And so you do lose a little bit of time doing it this route, but you don't lose the whole night. And that's kind of the point. We're looks like it should be almost done here, and we'll figure out it. Okay, 100% done. It stacked all 522. It didn't discard any. It took probably about a half hour to stack. I thought it would tell us how long it took, but I haven't done this in a while. So we're going to click check now. And there's the Tadpole Nebula, and it's not fabulous. I think it was really close to the house, and so it was competing with light reflecting off of my house. So it's not a fabulous image of the Tadpole Nebula. But hey, that's a heck of a lot better than we got the night before when we got 0. And so this was a fun experiment. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something, a workaround around some of those problems we can encounter with the plan. We appreciate everybody watching and wishing everybody clear skies. Thanks for watching.